Hello Story Fills viewers, and welcome back to Story Fills, the channel where prejudice meets its showdown and the underdog always gets poetic justice. The air in the Whitmore Mansion gallery was thick with wealth and the scent of judgment. The centerpiece, a purported $12 million French Impressionist painting. The silence was violently cut by the venomous voice of Mrs. Victoria Peton, dripping with corporate snobbery and racism. "What is this little black brat doing near my precious painting? Get her filthy hands away from it right now." Peton clapped her hands, treating 12-year-old Zara Williams, the daughter of the mansion's maid, Marie, like a stray animal. "These people have no business being around fine art. Marie, control your child before she damages something valuable." Zara's mother, trembling in her simple uniform, rushed forward with desperate apologies. But Zara, dismissed, and deemed invisible by the elite, stood motionless, her intelligent eyes fixed on the masterpiece. The room held its breath, expecting the child to submit to the bullying. Instead, words burst from her lips in perfect, aristocratic French: "That painting is fake." The gallery erupted in gasps. This child, instantly judged by her appearance and her mother's uniform, had just spoken flawless French and declared a multi-million-dollar masterpiece a fraud. How could a 12-year-old maid's daughter possibly know something that millionaire art experts had missed? Dr. Catherine Whitmore, the mansion's owner and a renowned art expert, pushed through the stunned crowd. She knelt to Zara's level and asked, in French, "What exactly did you just say?" Zara's voice, though trembling, was crystal clear. "The brushwork in the lower right corner is inconsistent with Monet's technique from 1894. The paint layering shows modern synthetic binders that weren't available until the 1950s. The crowd gasped again. This was no lucky guess. This was a 12-year-old speaking flawless French and using technical art terminology that defied every assumption about her. Peton's face flushed crimson, protesting that a servant's child couldn't know anything about authentic French Impressionism. Dr. Whitmore, however, demanded silence and urged Zara to continue, this time in English. Zara switched languages effortlessly, revealing more devastating details. The signature placement was wrong, and the canvas preparation showed machine processing, not the hand-prepared canvas used in 1894. These observations struck a terrifying chord with Dr. Whitmore, confirming the private doubts she'd been harboring for weeks. When asked where she learned this, Zara's quiet answer was the ultimate underdog comeback: "I've been watching and reading for 12 years, ma'am. Every day when Mama works, I study the books in your library. I taught myself French and Italian to read the original art history texts." Dr. Whitmore stood, realizing with horror that they had been harboring an untapped, brilliant expert for over a decade. In the quiet glow of the private library, Zara revealed the painful truth behind her expertise. Growing up in the servants' quarters, she taught herself languages using free apps and library audiobooks, French, Italian, Spanish, German, to access the original art history texts. Dr. Whitmore tested her knowledge, pointing to reproductions. Zara identified a Caravaggio, citing its emotional context and Neapolitan exile period in flawless Italian. She identified a Picasso Blue Period piece, detailing the exact year and the tragedy that inspired its melancholy, all in perfect Spanish. "Your catalog entry for the Degas Ballet series is dated by 3 years, Zara casually mentioned, pointing out an error that had baffled Dr. Whitmore for months. "I've noticed several authentication issues with recent acquisitions," Zara whispered, revealing precise, scholarly inconsistencies in 3 other expensive purchases. But who would listen to a maid's daughter? Dr. Whitmore realized that this child had been identifying problems that her entire team of high-paid experts had missed, issues that could cost the museum millions and destroy its reputation. Zara's motivation, she explained, was simple: "I want to prove that knowledge doesn't have a dress code, a racial requirement, or an economic prerequisite." The next morning, Zara, now recognized as a consulting specialist, meticulously examined the painting in the conservation lab. Using specialized equipment, she precisely documented the inconsistent brushwork and the presence of titanium white, a pigment not available until 1916. Her report was devastating: the painting was a sophisticated forgery. When the Metropolitan Museum's authentication team arrived, led by the highly skeptical Dr. Rebecca Carter, Zara faced the expected wall of prejudice and institutional bias. She's just a child. What are her credentials? No accreditation, no institutional backing. Instead of arguing, Zara stepped forward and silenced the room by discussing the technical inconsistencies first in flawless Italian, then French, then German, forcing the experts to listen to her words instead of judging her age and attire. Within hours, the team realized Zara's insights were crucial. The X-rays and spectrometers confirmed everything: the fake was an artificially aged modern creation. The discovery exploded into an FBI investigation, revealing a massive international art fraud network spanning 5 countries and over $200 million in fraudulent sales. The investigation led straight to Antoine Dubois, the distinguished French art dealer who sold the painting. Dubois arrived, radiating arrogance and supreme contempt for the amateur American investigators. He saw Zara and laughed, dripping with disdain. "A little girl, this is your expert witness?" Smugly confident that no one could understand his native language, Dubois began speaking carelessly and rapidly in French to his assistant, revealing crucial operational details about his Italian network, client lists, and forger locations in Milan and Rome. He boasted that his aging technique was undetectable, even by the Louvre. Then, Zara rose. Her clear young voice cut through his arrogant laughter. "Monsieur Dubois," she said in perfect, aristocratic French, "I understood every single word you just said, and now everyone in this room will understand exactly who you really are." Dubois's face turned white. Zara switched to flawless Italian, quoting his exact words about the Milan forgers. Dubois collapsed, his entire criminal network systematically destroyed by the very child he had dismissed as a little black brat with no education. The next morning, news vans lined the street. Zara, standing at the podium as a consulting authentication specialist, accepted a public apology from Mrs. Peton and announced a scholarship fund. The girl who was once told to move away from the art now had her name displayed beside it, proving that brilliance doesn't need permission, it just needs recognition. This is the power of a Prejudice Showdown, a story about a brilliant underdog whose comeback shattered barriers of bullying, racism, and corporate snobbery. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. And if you believe that potential should never be dismissed because of prejudice, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell for more stories of undeniable brilliance.